This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for participating in this gorgeous Thursday afternoon. And so I guess the first item is to get approval of the agenda for today. I'll move it. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes was sent out. I'll move them. Anybody second?
Second.
Okay. Are you all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So my chair's report, but I don't have a hard copy. I'll look at it in this device over here.
Sheila, do you want to share the agenda on the screen? You have it up?
Sure. Let's see. Where's the agenda? Sorry, I can't, I'm gonna have to get it again. One moment.
Yeah, I thought I had it here myself. I keep only having the agenda here. Wow. Let me see over here. Oh, you know what? I have it on my computer. All right, I'll just no problem. Excuse me. I'll have it in 3 seconds. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, first
So-
is chair's report.
My chair's report for today. Like I talked about the fact that the service was reduced after our last get together, and we have hourly service on express and local on each 3 branches, and the actually since the last time since I wrote this, the Waterbury branch got buses so they can buckle down and get some work done out there. I thank Memphis for making a statement, which unless you went to our Facebook page, you would not have seen it. And I spoke to the NJ Transit Board meeting last week. It was a horrible experience because they asked all of the people participating to call in between 8 and 8:30 in the morning, and we sat on hold like the whole meeting, plus an hour and a quarter executive session. And then they finally came back. And then I sent an email to the board secretary asking, this is now past 12:30. And really, it actually almost at 1 o'clock, I wanted to find out where I stood in the list because there were 75 public speakers.
Wow.
And so as it came past 1 o'clock, I sent another email asking her for some help because I had the MTA board briefing to do, and I wanted to know. Anyway, I don't know whether it happened or not, but I did get called about 3 names later. I read my statement. I sent an email to the general vice, actually the chairman. They called the executive director, now the president, and the other senior people there, and expressing my disappointment how they handled that meeting. And they showed a total lack of respect for the people who were the public speakers. And normally, if it was an in-person board meeting, they would have taken steps to consolidate the speakers, and they would have said, okay. The biggest problem was the proposal, which they already approved, to build a power plant in the Meadowlands with pollution and all that kind of stuff, and an area that already has people, minorities living that have compromised health systems, and adding pollution to that is not what they want. And they would have consolidated those speakers into a small group, but they didn't do that. So anyway, I got to make my call. I did send also I talked about PTC, and their report actually was public. I think I sent it to the staff that the New Jersey Transit as of March 31st was at 5.4%. Metro North is at 82 or something, and Long Island Railroad is close behind. So it's a big mess over there.
Hey,
I saw that
It
there,
sounds that way, Randy. Can
I'm
you
sorry?
say those numbers again, please? The PTC, you said 24% and 82%, I think.
No, I think it was five. Oh yeah, ours is 82%, and the Long Island Railroad is not far behind.
Oh, I
You
see.
can get that on from the in the CPAC book, and also the
Okay.
joint book,
And-
you have exactly what it is.
And did you happen to send your statement to Lisa or anyone that we could just have your statement?
yeah,
I did
it was sent out.
It was
did
sent out.
send.
Okay. Okay, I'll look for that. Okay, thank you.
I've already posted it on our website, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
So
Well, Randy, wasn't there a press release on the PTC status?
no,
I got one.
I don't recall. All right, well, if the MTA put one out, that's fine. I just don't remember.
Yeah, they did,
It's
and it
been a very
was good.
it's been a busy week for me with all the other stuff going on here.
I did
the
see,
PTC.
I'm sorry, I did see that New Jersey Transit is one of, I think, 3 railroads nationally that's at a high
Right.
level of risk.
Yes, Tex Rail, which I wrote in February, is another one. That's the new line opened last year between the DFW airport and Fort Worth. New Mexico Rail Runner, which has been running for about 10, 15 years, is another one. And there was I think there's 5 of them altogether. Yeah, I did send the report to New Jersey Transit that was in our CPAC book, and I haven't heard back from them. But Metro North is concerned about it, and what I did at last week's call-in, for the PTC working group, I asked if they would kindly add a page to their report that shows what's going on west of Hudson. I said, we're in a bad situation here, and we don't want to be in a position where we're not reporting. So let's report the bad news and let everybody know. And they said
You're correct, Randy.
they will do it for the June meeting. So we'll have in fact, they are all set to go on the Port Jervis line. They have all the entire new signal system is in, and this will be an overlay, they told us, of the new one. The fellow who was heading up the PTC project for Metro North, Richard Franz something, I can't remember his name. He's retired as of yesterday. So there is a number 2 guy there. I don't recall his name, but it's a lot easier if you're in person, you see the people and you can put a face with the name, then you know them. So anyway, they feel they're in a good place with where they are now, and they're continuing to work on it. Yeah, so that's basically my report. The board meeting yesterday went well. It started at 10 o'clock, and we had a citation of the names of each of the agency presidents of those who had passed away. Moment of silence for them. And one of the people that died was a conductor that I knew, Ben Schaefer. He died in April. Let me see where else we are here. So I said the board meeting went well. They approved my least favorite subject since I was on the board is this debarment thing. But
But it's one of my favorite subjects.
Okay, go ahead. You have the
So
floor.
about a year ago, based on legislation that was passed as part of the budget last year, there was a requirement that there be debarment legislation that took contractors to task for being 10% over cost or 10% over budget. I'm sorry, or over time, and to provide debarment regulations that would be implemented by the MTA. Shortly after that, from what I understand, because I was not there, the executive committee in an executive session of the board in May, the board members were presented with what the MTA was going to was not just implementing, but implementing back to April 19th or in April, debarment regulations that would automatically debar any contractor who is 10% over in terms of time or cost. The construction industry went ballistic because it retroactively debarred people. It debarred, without allowing the contracting community to have not just any say, but also to take to consideration of what any of the risk factors might be, and maybe change their prices. And it also didn't, and it had everybody. It stacked the deck, in that the three people, the three hearing officers were all MTA employees, and it also included subcontractors. And so it was passed in the middle of the night, and it was extended several times by the MTA through the state process, which includes posting it in the state record. There was a public comment period after it was first initiated, and there were dozens and dozens of comments that were received, not just from us, who expressed concern about the process and asked that there be that there be debarment regulations that were developed in daylight as opposed to the middle of the night, but from the contracting community and from good government groups. And ultimately, the contracting community initiated 2 lawsuits. My understanding is that those lawsuits disappeared yesterday morning, or were disappeared yesterday morning, based on conversations that were had late into the night before, and the debarment regulations, the new debarment regulations, which they don't know if they're posted yet, but which a staff summary of which was posted on the MTA's website, but you really have to look very hard to find it. But there will be a 45-day public comment period. The contracting community is less upset because this also recognizes that the MTA sometimes can cause those delays, where under the emergency regulations, there was no provision for delays caused by the MTA. It was always assumed that it was the contractor. So there's a 45-day comment period now, and then the board will vote on the final regulations in July. So I think that sums it up. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to ask them. We do have a statement that we put together. It's on the PCAC website.
Okay, very good. Mr. Department, it actually was it lasted less than 10 minutes. It was a call at 9 o'clock yesterday to talk about stuff, and that was one of the things they talked about. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, Randy, I just wanted to add one thing. Over the
Go ahead.
over the past few months, there were several projects where some of the major contracting companies that you'd expect to bid declined to bid, and when asked why, they said because of the debarment regulations. And there was some, there was some conversation about whether that.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, about the conversations about, well, does that mean that they don't think that they can meet the time and the cost? But that was really not what the refusal was, and therefore, so limited competition equals increased costs ultimately. So that's another good outcome.
Yeah, you and I had this conversation at the Javits Center last year, because one of the guys I know for many years, who was he was the head of a firm that did work with the Transit Authority when I was working with Capital Program Management, and he ran into me and he said, we didn't bid and others didn't bid because of that, and we did have that discussion. All right, well, I'm glad this is slowly getting resolved.
Yes.
I have a question. The debarment rules haven't been implemented though, right?
Nobody nobody has been debarred.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. It's just out there, like the elephant in the room. It's there, but thankfully we haven't. And I spoke against it at was it last, it was after I had gone with the others to Pittsburgh. I went after Larry Schwartz, what he brought up I think it was at a September meeting. I asked him that I wish he hadn't done it. Okay. The next order is the membership update. I don't think anyone is doing any work up in Albany, but Lisa, you have the floor.
Well, they did respond to my email. So,
Oh,
but they said that there's no change. And I sent a follow-up email and never heard back. So
is the Senate and the Assembly, are they in session or they are not in session?
they have
I
met
don't think they are.
virtually. No, I think they met virtually and took an action there. But that's pretty much the extent of it. You know, they were going to recess on June 2nd because you know, this is an election year for everybody. So they're just home sooner.
Speaking purely for myself and for Andrew, I'm glad that our appointments were up last year and not this year.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have any action on this year. All right. All right, so new business, COVID response. The last item here, keeping workers and riders safe. All right, so did anybody have a chance to see the light sanitizing thing that they've done with the buses that they did in the yards?
Yeah.
Or you see that?
With Columbia University?
Yes, that one. Have you seen it? Francina?
Yeah.
It's been on-
Yeah, I haven't seen it in action, but I read about it.
Oh, all right. It was even, you could find it on any of the local news station websites. It was also on the NBC Nightly News last night. If somebody wants me to send it to them, I'll be happy to do that.
It's on the MTA's YouTube channel as well.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So you should all be getting the press releases. So the press release did have information about it. Warren, you're getting them?
I've been getting the press releases.
Yeah. How about Francina?
Yes, I've been getting them.
Okay. And Francis, you also get them?
Yeah, that's fine.
Have you been getting the press releases from the MTA?
For the most part, yeah. I don't know if I was missing anything because I get what I get.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we never know what we get. I get some.
Yeah, but it's fine. You know,
I get two sometime, but it's okay.
Right.
All right.
I signed up for the MTA YouTube channel so that I get alerts when they're about to have a press event.
Oh, nice.
That's great.
I didn't realize I had a channel until you just mentioned it.
Yeah. I'm spending a lot of time on YouTube these days.
Me too. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to discuss?
Randy, is it possible to get an accurate picture from New Jersey Transit about positive train control?
I doubt it.
Not unless it's on the federal. Don't they have to report to FRA?
Yeah, they do, but they're not telling Metro North anything. I did actually, when I think it goes back now 2 years ago, when the New Jersey Transit, in order to install positive train control, canceled 2 of our express trains in the PCAC Valley line. There was a meeting with NJT and all the senior Metro North people in the county executive's office, and they agreed that they would use the money that they weren't paying to New Jersey Transit to do something for Rockland. And the thing that came out of it was a promise to build a new shelter at Nanuet. So I spoke with the Rockland County Transportation people the other day, and as it turned out, we went last Thursday to get up in the city to get the antibody tests for COVID, and we don't have any. They're very low numbers. So then we were out. We ordered some Chinese food. My wife likes it. I'm not. But anyway, then we went to while we were waiting for it, I took a ride into the Nanuet station to make sure that they had done nothing, and they had done nothing. Anyway, I sent an email to Metro North yesterday, and they responded that because of the shutdown, they're not allowed to advertise contracts, but as soon as it's over, and they expect it might be next month, that they would advertised the job and they expect it to be in construction, award the contract in the fall and have the work done next year. So that's done. All right.
Kathy Rinaldi promised us a new shelter next year.
Well, but she promised it. She didn't say when it was going to be, but it looks like it might come next year. So what is the state? What are you doing about our June 4th PCAC meeting? That's coming right up.
That's coming up. We're continuing to try different technologies. I think Andrew reached out to Mark Dowd, who's the Chief Innovation Officer,
Oh, okay.
to see if he'd be available to do a presentation then. Do you all want to continue to have it at noon? Or do you want to see about moving it to the morning? Or is it just like let sleeping dogs lie? And
I think leaving it at noon is fine with me.
Noon's good.
All right, so we may try Zoom. I'll tell you frankly that not this committee, but one of our other committees benefits from having the automatic ability to mute people.
Yes.
And that it's been very challenging to us, different technologies. We're working our way through them. We may try a Teams meeting. I think that's another option, but I think Zoom is something that people have and you can just use with a phone.
Yeah, but are you limited to 40 minutes, or are we buying the subscription that we don't?
Oh no, I have one. I have a personal one.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lisa, my experience has been in lots of these is that Zoom works better than the Microsoft Teams. I don't know why, but it just seems to be easier, more navigable.
Yeah, right. And also similar to this, you can just phone in. It's just, we had some challenges with some of our, another council. We've tried two different technologies and neither has worked well. So Zoom it is. But we have that council that we're going to try with Zoom next week. So we'll see. Can I give you an update? Also, I'm sorry, if there's anything that's that you'd like to see on the agenda, please let us know. I'd like to give you, if you don't mind, a little bit of an update of some of the work that we have been doing.
Sure, that would be a great idea.
Great. As you know, we're working remotely. Otherwise, we each have very interesting offices, right? With two of us who have office cats who are on this call. And it presents its challenges. We used we use technology and good old-fashioned phone calls and conversations. And we have been Sheila and Bradley are both working on dedicated projects, which is great. In addition to being thrown into the middle of anytime I go, we need this information now. I and Ellen and I have been, in particular, have been focused on supporting the MTA's request for federal funding. We work with local and regional and national advocacy organizations in the transit sphere and arena to put out messages, to put out what we're messaging, how we're talking about it, to ensure that in everything we say, we hope that Congress is listening to the requests, the important asks that the MTA is making, the contributions that the MTA makes to the region, that the MTA region supports 10% of the US GDP, that in New York State alone, the MTA's 5-year capital program is estimated to bring in 350,000 jobs and cause $75 billion of economic activity. We're looking for some national numbers around that as well. We've had some conversations with some folks internally at the MTA, Jano and his team and others, about some of the languaging and some of the messaging that we're doing. So this, as you may know, on May 6th, the MTA put in its second request for $3.9 billion, and that was based on a McKinsey report that estimated that at the best case scenario would indicate that about 60% of ridership would resume by the fall, which is a low number, but considering that the MTA as a whole is so reliant on fare box revenue, that's, that really is a significant marker on how much money it's losing, on the revenue that it's losing, combined with toll revenue and tax revenue declines. It's really substantial, and essentially the MTA is going broke to help save New York during this crisis. So we're doing our part to help save the MTA by supporting the federal requests. Andrew Albert and I penned an op-ed that appeared in Cranes last week, and I will send that around, because I don't know that we have, in support of the MTA's request and in support of the points that I just made. We are working on, as I said, at the national and local levels to try and highlight the importance of the transit system to the region's recovery. And at this point, everybody's support and help is really appreciated. We're happy to develop an op-ed or op-eds if you would like to submit them to, to LOHUD or to any of the other local papers, to, or any of the online outlets that you think are influential. If you'd like to reach out to your elected officials, particularly those obviously at the national level who may hold sway with the big guy, or the guy in Kentucky, because those are the folks that really need the sway and the convincing that transit is important, and it's not about a red state or a blue state. It's about an economic survival, essentially, for the nation. So we're happy to do that. As I said, we'll send out the op-ed if there's any points that, if anybody would like some talking points, we're happy to share those with you. If you need some contact information, we're happy to share that with you. But it's always personal relationships and your connections are really going to be very critical in helping to impress upon those who vote the importance of Metro North and transit to the region.
Well, let's see. If you wrote up something, could we send it on behalf of the council to LOHUD?
Absolutely.
Anybody opposed to that idea?
I think that's a good idea, Randy.
All right, so if we write something, we can pass it around. People can throw their comments onto what you guys write. And we should also, well, hopefully I'll hear from Rich. We'll send that to Judy Rife from whatever they call, what's the Orange County paper called, Times Record or something?
Yeah, in Middletown.
Yep, it is in Middletown. I forget the name of it. I have it with her contact information. Yeah, we'd send it to her.
All right, great. So we'll put together an op-ed and a letter to the editor.
Okay.
That would be great. That would be really terrific.
Sure. All right, fine. Okay, so if there's nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Randy, just one other thing, real quick. Can we ever get a status on what's going on about Suffern Station?
Everything I think is on hold. Yeah, Ellen would know. Is Ellen around?
Ellen is not on the call. I don't know that there's an update. I'll ask her to put one together.
Everything is like on hold because of this thing.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm pretty sure that hasn't moved forward at all.
Yep. That's the sad truth.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right.
Aye.
So disconnect the recording. We can just have our own little chit chat.
Yep, hold on.